We just got a ride out of reserve. It's about 25 miles on the highway, so it's kind of far. And the guy who gave us a ride is a real character. How would you describe him?
Intense.
He's a talker.
Very nice man.
Yeah. Kind of an extreme redneck, I guess you might say. And I don't mean that in like a derogatory way. He was like the nicest hitchhike I've ever had. But yeah, just kind of an intense dude. But he gave us some beers. He went out of his way to drop us off here. He wasn't even going this far, but very friendly guy. And it's just a kind of experience that you don't have in regular life. How do you feel about meeting people like that?
I think it's healthy for me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done it by myself. I would have passed.
Yeah, probably not the kind of car a woman would want to get into or on her own. But after being in the car with him for half an hour, he seems like a very friendly person. Just not a good first impression. Well, we just can't seem to get on the trail today. All we're doing is drinking beer. We drank the first beer that our first driver gave us. We walked across the highway, and then another guy pulled off the highway and pulled up next to us. He's like, "Hey, you guys want a beer?" So it turns out he hiked the CDT in 2015. He's on his way to the Grand Canyon right now, and so he knew he'd be crossing the trail at some point, so he thought he'd stop by at one of the highway crossings and see if there were any hikers. And we were those lucky hikers.
He was way less intense. So we hung out for about 45 minutes. So we're getting a little bit late start to the day, but that's okay. I'm beginning to learn how to hang out, I guess, or be comfortable around people. And talking to that guy was a little fun, so that's good. We are back on the official route of the CDT, and we are headed to Pie Town.
Don't you just love those wilderness sounds?
I'm feeling a little bit more ready for this. My body's in less pain. My left foot is better. It's not completely healed, I would say. I still get pain, but I can take a break and stretch it out and hop back on trail with no pain.
So we were counting on there being water in this hole right here. This is the first time that the Guthook app has misinformed us. The comments said that there would be water here. And this is only about 3 miles into our hike today, so we didn't think we'd have to bring much water, so we didn't bring much water. And there isn't any water for another 8 miles or so after this. So that means we have to hike another 8 miles today. We'll be hiking into the dark and rationing our water. The dogs are thirsty too. They might smell something. Let's see where they go. Oh, never mind. They're chasing elk. So the sun just set. We may have found a different water source that is a little bit earlier than the 8 miles we thought we had to go. Well, I think this might be our water for tonight. That's the sound I'm listening for. That is much better than a brown pond. That's coming right out of the ground.
summer sausage cheese wraps with peppers.
Yeah, I guess it's not terrible. I think when you're talking about solo hiking versus group hiking, it really just depends on the person's personality. I don't think there is one way that's better than the other. It just depends on what kind of person you are and what your priorities are, I guess. I'm a pretty introverted person. I like to be self-sufficient, and I have a lot of pride in doing things by myself. So I'm kind of naturally drawn to the solo hiking thing. But somebody who's more extroverted, more outgoing, somebody who draws energy from being around other people, they're going to thrive in more of a group setting. So I knew that by doing this hike with my girlfriend and 2 dogs, it would be a much different experience than the other thru hikes that I've done before. With thru hiking in general, moods fluctuate a lot. That's just kind of a normal part of the experience out here. There's a lot of highs and lows. When I'm solo hiking, I'm the only one who has to deal with those mood changes. And I can be in a bad mood and it doesn't affect anybody. So it's actually kind of a lower consequence to be in a bad mood when I'm by myself. Since Amy and I are so close all the time, we kind of feed off of each other's energy. And if one of us is in a bad mood, it's going to put the other person in a bad mood. We try not to let it affect us too much, but we simply haven't gotten that good at controlling our emotions yet. So one person's emotions tend to leak onto the other person. So far, the negative emotions have been much more contagious, it seems like. And that's been really hard to manage at times. So I'm not going to film the conflicts that Amy and I get into, because those are just kind of personal things, and this doesn't need to turn into a reality TV show, but I can assure you that there have been plenty. This is probably pretty standard relationship dynamics that everybody knows about, but it's kind of different out here because things are much more intense, things change much more quickly, and we are together 24/7 basically. So out here we need to be much more aware of how the other person's doing and how our actions are affecting the other person, because something can turn from a minor annoyance into a really big deal in a matter of a day or two. A lot of these things that become problems for us start on the subconscious level, and we may not be fully aware of what they even are. We might be annoyed, but we don't know why we're annoyed. We can't actually verbalize what the problem is. So it takes some time and some kind of soul searching to kind of dive into our subconscious and really figure out where these negative emotions are coming from and what's causing them. And that might take a week or 2. But I think this is a skill that we have to learn, kind of diving into that subconscious and figuring out where these things are coming from. And over time, we'll practice that, and I think we'll get better at it. We are on our final stretch before we get to the highway, and then we'll hitch a ride into Pie Town. It's very windy, and other than that, there's not much going on out here. This is what you call desolate.
There's cool rocks.
Yeah. Amy did find some cool rocks. This one just chased a coyote for like half a mile. And then she got yelled at a lot. Made it to the highway. Now all we gotta do is find a ride into town. Any guesses how long that'll take? Yeah! Got it. You did it! How long do you think that'll last?
To Canada?
We don't need to resupply for the rest of the hike.
No.
We've organized dinners. Also dinner. Fruit snacks, oatmeal, other snacks, more snacks, sweets. Now we just have to pick our 5 days out of this.